A meeting to order this evening. We do have a public hearing scheduled this evening at 7 o'clock. So at this time we will convene the public hearing, and it is for establishing the tax levy for fiscal year 2013-14 beginning April the 1st, 2013. So at this time, if you would like to make comments on the tax levy, which we will be discussing in the regular agenda, now's the time to do that. Please, we ask that you go to the podium. You don't have to sign in. You just go forward and make comments that you would like to make regarding the tax levy only at this time. Okay, it looks like we have no comments, so we will close the public hearing, and I will call the meeting to order. At this time, I would like to ask Mike Kelly to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by prayer.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll lead us in a moment of silence. Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mike. Please be seated. At this time, Mary, if you would please call roll.
Kelly.
Here.
Hurt. Beach.
Here.
Livingston.
Here.
Carter.
Here.
Ehlers. Here. Heaton.
Here.
Young.
Here.
Thank you very much. Next on the agenda is hearing of citizens' comments. If you have anything you would like to speak to the council about, now is the time to do it. We ask that you go to the podium and sign your name and your ward number and your phone number. That's for our minutes so that we have the information correct. And Mrs. Miney got here early, and she got on the top of the list, so she's ready to go. And you are limited to 5 minutes.
Okay. My name is Marilyn Miney, and I live at 501 Sonia Drive. I'm in Ward 3. And what I would like to address in this issue is about the Boonville Airport. First of all, I want to thank the mayor and the members of the council for allowing me this opportunity to speak about the airport. And as all of you are aware, we've recently had a large number of visitors in Boonville with the ball games that have been going on. It was brought to my attention that there was a young man who flew people in for those games, and he spent 4 hours, and the building out at the airport has no comfortable chair, no comfortable couch, no place to get a snack, and this building is very undersized for a town the size of Boonville. So I'd like to point that out to you all. And also, the building is in very bad shape. It has no insulation in it, and it's not energy efficient at all. I spoke with John Taylor, the manager, and I also learned that the airport is self-supporting, and I learned that there is definitely a safety issue out there. There are families who come, pilots who fly, and they have children, and if you are aware of where that building sits, you have to cross the traffic way there, and that is putting children in jeopardy. That building needs to be moved closer to the parking lot, or what it needs is a new building, not move it, because it's ready to fall apart anyway. But that's where it needs to sit, so that people do not have to cross that traffic way out there. And I would think the city would be interested in that, because that could be a liability there. Also, there are 42 hangars out there. Every one of them is full. And John tells me that he has 3 or 4 persons that are on a waiting list, and that they're very competitive with their prices. And they've brought in a number of people from surrounding towns, such as Fulton and other areas further away than that. And my point is that the airport here in Boonville could be very important to the city as far as for attracting industry. A town that has an airport is ahead of the game, I feel. And another thing that I would urge the council to do, I know that this was on the agenda at one time, and I would urge you to put it back on the agenda and to take action on it, and I feel the sooner the better, since there would be a nice place for people to come into the airport. Thank you for your time.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Miney. Jeremy is coming up. I asked Jeremy to come kind of brief us on, since this is really our first, what's the term, stream?
Yeah, streaming live on the internet.
Right. I've had a couple of people call, and I want to make sure that I am giving them the correct information on when this is going to be aired or how you get to it. So Jeremy, for all of our sakes, would you please bring us up to date?
Sure. Right now, this meeting is being streamed live on the internet. I believe Noah was earlier able to look at it with his iPad, and currently right now we have a whole 2 viewers. So we're really, we need to get those advertising dollars in from that, I guess. But anyways, right now we are broadcasting this meeting live, or streaming it live on the internet. Anybody with access to a computer and sufficient internet can log on to Ustream and see the meeting live there. There is a link to it from the city's website. On the front page in the news items on the website, there is a link to the Ustream channel, and once the meeting has been aired, and basically I click stop recording and a couple more buttons, the meeting will then be transferred over to a YouTube channel and will be available to be downloaded or watched through there. That link also is available on the website. Right now we are using Ustream to broadcast the meeting. Hopefully soon YouTube will roll out their live streaming product, and we'll be able to stream these meetings all live within YouTube without involving 2 separate links, one for live and one for recordings after the fact. But right now the YouTube hasn't really fully rolled that out, so we have to wait for that to come into effect before we can take advantage of that.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? Noah, or comments?
Yeah, I got a few comments. When you take the link from the city's website to Ustream, you can actually click on Ustream to click on there to be a follower. And if you're a follower of our page, what it did for me is I clicked as a follower, and 15 minutes before the meeting, it actually sent me a link to both my iPad and my iPhone to tell me that in 15 minutes the meeting was going to start. And the link was right there, so when I clicked on it, it took me, and it was already up, about 5 minutes before the meeting started. You could see video, so
yeah,
make it even easier. I mean, if you become a follower, it actually emails you when it's time to watch it. So,
okay.
Pretty simple.
Very good. And we're doing this for a trial period of 6 months?
I believe so.
Okay. Very good.
All right. Anything else?
Thank you, Jeremy. Any other citizens' comments? Seeing none, we will move along to approval of the minutes of the July 15th, 2013 council meeting. They were in your packet, and you've had plenty of time to read those. Are there any additions or corrections? No.
In the subject paragraph of the live broadcast, in the last paragraph, when it was discussing how Mr. Beach and Mr. Kelly both agreed to rescind their original motion, it only talks about Mr. Beach then making a new motion. It doesn't talk about anybody seconding that motion.
Okay.
I believe Mr. Kelly, again, seconded the new one.
I do.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's all I saw.
So we will make that correction. Anything else? They will stand as corrected. Consent items, we have none this evening. Presentation of accounts and claims. Mary, when you're ready, if you would please share that with us.
Ordinance appropriating money. Be it ordained by the council of the city of Boonville as follows. Section 1. For the purpose of paying salaries and various accounts against the city of Boonville which have been allowed by the council at the regular meeting thereof on August 5th, 2013, the sum of $636,955.19. General Fund, $294,939.35. Sanitation, $32,528.01. CIP tax, $1,954.59. Waterworks, $135,964.80. Capital projects, $4,938.20. Wastewater, $69,972.18. Tourism, $8,210.92. Gaming, $88,447.14. Parks Water, 0. Section 2, the bookkeeper is hereby authorized and instructed to draw checks on the respective city bank accounts in favor of the persons whose salaries and accounts have been allowed as above, amounting to $636,955.19, being the total amount of money above appropriated. Section 3, this ordinance shall take effect and be enforced from and after its passage. First reading on August 5th, 2013. Read for the second time this 5th day of August, 2013, since a copy was made available prior to the meeting.
Second reading, title only.
Ordinance appropriating money.
Mark?
Mayor, I move we approve this ordinance.
Second.
Thank you, Morris. Roll call.
Kelly,
Yes.
Hurt,
Yes.
Beach,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Ayers,
Yes.
Heaton,
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Unfinished business, we have none this evening. New business, item A, consider temporary street closure and parking restriction from the Turner Hall River Rats for the Arts for September 7th, 2013, and that is for Vine Street. And Leslie Oswald is here this evening representing the River Rats, so if anyone has any questions, I'm sure she'd be glad to answer them. Any questions? I would like a motion then.
Mayor, I make a motion this be approved.
Do I hear a second? Ned?
Second.
Thank you. Any comments? Roll call.
Kelly,
Yes.
Hurt,
Yes.
Beach,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Ayers,
Yes.
Heaton,
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Item B, consider temporary street closures and parking restrictions from the Chamber of Commerce for the Festival of Lights each Thursday in September. Here again, you had that's for a little more extensive. It's Spring Street, and Diana Jensen is here and would be glad to answer any questions that you may have. Is this a difference from what you've done in the past? Okay. Any questions of Diana or comments? I'm looking for a motion then. Morris?
Mayor, I make a motion to be approved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Becky. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Kelly,
Yes.
Hurt,
Yes.
Beach,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Ayers,
Yes.
Heaton,
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Thank you, Diana. Item C, consider Resolution R 2013-08, accepting a bid from Fresh Paving for the asphalt street repairs and overlays 2013.
A resolution of the City of Boonville, Missouri, authorizing and approving an agreement between Freck Paving and the City of Boonville, Missouri pertaining to asphalt street repairs and overlays 2013, and providing an effective date therefor. Whereas the City of Boonville has solicited and received bids for this project and determined that Freck Paving represents the best bid pursuant to the purchasing code set forth in Section 2-20 of the City of Boonville Code of Ordinances. Therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Boonville, Missouri as follows. Section 1, that a certain agreement between Freck Paving and the City of Boonville, Missouri relating to the asphalt street repairs and overlays 2013, a copy of which is marked Exhibit A as attached hereto and made a part hereof, is hereby approved. Section 2, that the city administrator and the city clerk are hereby authorized to execute and attest said agreement on behalf of the city of Boonville. Section 3, this resolution shall take effect and be in full force from and after its passage and approval. Passed this 5th day of August, 2013, by the City Council of Boonville, Missouri.
Do I hear a motion? Mark,
Mayor, I move we approve this.
do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Morris. Questions or comments? Steve?
Is this all budgeted?
Yes, it is budgeted. However, you see the low bid's higher than the estimate, so we will be bringing a change order during the course of a project to reduce the scope to bring the numbers back to closer to reality.
Okay. Ned?
Thank you. Item number 20, type A curb and gutter. I was astounded by the difference between MECO's estimate, Freck Paving's amount, and APAC. All three of those numbers are quite a bit different. Could Scott speak to that?
Scott, would you like to step to the podium and...
It's unknown what they put into their bids for type A curb and gutter. Type A is a vertical 6-inch curb. It also includes the gravel underneath it. And yes, there's a wide variety of variance in the dollar amounts. The $30 that we used is what was bid last year for type A curb and gutter. Obviously, things have changed this year. It seems that a lot of the numbers have gone up. I don't know if the economy is getting better or what the story is, but bids are coming in a little higher this year than what we expected. But to answer exactly why Freck was different from APAC, we'd have to ask them what they put in their bids in that particular line item.
Okay, so they would not have bid to spec, they would have bid to the description.
Right. And then, of course, there's items that we don't put in our bid tab that they've got to cover their costs, such as bonding, insurance, so forth and so on. So they distribute those numbers into their bid line items also.
Got to make it tough to budget.
Yes, it does.
Noah?
Yeah, because the numbers I crunched, I've got some of the estimates are 100% markup all the way up to 700% markup from your estimate. And I know the one that Mr. Beach pointed out was, probably the largest money one, because it's 594 units at $30 was your estimate, and theirs was 69. That's 133% difference.
Right, and Apex was 41.
Yeah, and the line 26, is very similar. Your estimate was $20 per unit. There's only 72 units. But yours was $20 a unit. Theirs is 138.
Exactly.
That's almost 700% markup. So
that is those truncated dome plates for ADA compliance, and obviously APAC probably put material cost in there and threw their labor into the concrete, versus Freck probably added labor into the truncated domes and less in their concrete. So it's how they split it up and put it together. It makes a wide variety on some of these small items like this.
yeah, overall the whole bid was about 20% higher than your estimate.
And next year we'll be making adjustments according to what we've got this year.
Mike has a
So
question.
is there an opportunity prior to us seeing these bids to go back and ask for clarification, or do you just take what they have and go forward with a decision at that point?
If there is line items that we feel are way out of line, then we can go back and ask for clarifications on the numbers if you feel that they're adjusted wrongly. But for the most part, they're, based on the engineer's estimate, based on their bids, things have gone up and down, back and forth from the estimate. So I mean, they're not out of line in our review.
Any other questions for Scott? Okay, thank you, Scott.
Okay.
Mayor,
Do we have any idea of the streets that we're gonna do, or have we been given a copy of that already?
Yes, I think Earl passed that out several meetings ago, is that correct?
Yeah, I passed that out back April, May, probably when we did the inspection of the total thing. I can give you an updated list.
Could you tell me if South Street's on that list? Because
South Street down by Nelson or the other end?
the one that goes into this, from Main Street, is it south that goes
Yeah,
from
down
Main?
there.
Yeah.
It is not a part of here. I have some other plans on a direction for that section down there, particularly the intersection with Nelson.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, I'm looking for a motion.
We already
Oh,
got
I'm sorry. Okay. Are we ready to vote? Sorry. Roll call.
Kelly.
Yes?
Hurt.
Yes.
Beach.
Yes.
Livingston.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Ayers.
Yes.
Heaton.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Item D, first reading of Bill Number 2013-023, establishing a tax levy for fiscal year 2013-14.
An ordinance of the City of Boonville, Missouri, establishing the rate of taxes to be levied on all property subject to taxes in the City of Boonville, Missouri for the fiscal year beginning April 1st, 2013.
Okay, I think Earl would like to make a few comments.
I just have a couple comments. The rate's the same as it was last year, exactly the same, 65 cents. I sent you some other information to review, and I think I'll discuss that at the second reading at next meeting. So that's all I have tonight.
Okay. Item E, first reading of Bill Number 2013-024, authorizing a contract with the Missouri Highway and Transportation Commission for a partial parallel taxiway at Jesse Vertel Memorial Airport.
An ordinance of the City of Boonville, Missouri, authorizing the city administrator to execute a contract between the City of Boonville, Missouri and the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission, providing for funding for a partial parallel taxiway project, providing an effective date therefore, and repealing all ordinances in conflict with this ordinance.
Okay. Item F, first reading of Bill Number 2013-025, annexing certain contiguous territory along and including the Highway 87 corridor and southern border of the city, consisting of approximately 327 acres.
An ordinance of the City of Boonville, Missouri, extending the corporate limits of the City of Boonville by annexing certain contiguous territory along and including the Highway 87 corridor and southern border of the city, consisting of approximately 327 acres, placing the property, if annexed, in a variety of zones including RA, R1, C1, and C2, in accordance with the zoning ordinances and the current land use, approving and adopting the plan of intent for the financing and provision of municipal services in the area annexed, fixing the time when this ordinance shall become effective, and repealing all ordinances in conflict with this ordinance.
Megan, did you want to make some comments at this time?
I think the only thing is just a couple reminders. One, at your call, Madam Mayor, we need to set the special hearing or the special meeting on August 26th to actually vote. The council wanted to have 3 readings of this ordinance, with the second reading being on August 19th, and that's when we actually will conduct the public hearing, but did not want to vote on it until the next meeting, special meeting will have to be held on August 26th, because if it is approved by City Council, then the following day is the last day to get it to Darrell Kemp to get on the November election. So we need to actually set that special meeting on the 26th of August. So that would be one item. The second item would just be to remind everybody on the 2 public hearings, public forums that we have scheduled for Wednesday and Thursday of this week. I think the Wednesday meeting's from 4 to 6, and the Thursday meeting is from 6 to 8. So it will be here. A number of the city staff will be here. Hopefully a number of you all will be able to attend. And I expect that we'll probably have a number of folks from the area proposed to be annexed. Bill Rapp will be here to talk about the Hale Ridge development and the progress they've made towards that. So I think those will be two good meetings to get some feedback from the folks in the area to be annexed. We have been actually getting some feedback from them already through phone calls and communications with a couple of the council folks, so that's been very positive. I would also like to thank Ned and Noah and Morris. They've been very helpful in attending a number of meetings and actually have helped flesh out some good reasons why the annexation needs to go forward. So I appreciate their thoughts.
Okay. I would like a motion to schedule this special meeting for August the 26th at 7 o'clock at City Hall. Noah?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
I think Mark had his hand up first, so we'll let him.
Second.
Questions or comments about that?
Not about the meeting, but
Okay, let's vote on that, and then we can come back to that. Roll call on this. This is on scheduling a special meeting August 26th.
Kelly,
Yes.
Hirsch,
Yes.
Beach,
Yes?
Livingston.
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Ayers,
Yes.
Heaton,
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Six,
Noah?
6 o'clock, 7 o'clock?
7 o'clock was what the motion was, I believe. Noah, did you have more comments?
Yeah, inside here, there was made mention to people who live in the affected annexed area, if they currently have pets that are opposite of the city code, they won't have to displace them. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that? I've had a question presented to me about what's that mean? How is it forever? How long? What type? What if they have a pig or a horse? Or I mean, what's the? Do we have guidelines for this yet, or is this?
Well,
sort of-
I think we do. Earl's kind of the final arbiter of that, but we do have, we look at the number of acres that the particular tract is in question. I think that if somebody, for example, has 6 dogs and cats, and we're not going to make them get rid of 2 of them to come down to the limit of 4 within the city limits. I mean, when they pass away, they won't be replaced, for example, those kind of things. So what I'd like to do, if anybody has any particular questions, and this was very effective at the last time we looked at annexing on a kind of a case-by-case basis, we evaluate what people have. I've not heard that as a question come up with any of the folks in the area to be annexed so far. But we would be happy to address them. But on your normal dogs and cats, that's kind of the biggest issue.
Okay. And then the second part in the packet, there was discussion about trash. More of a comment more than anything. I know last time we monkeyed with our trash routes. It got a little hairy for a while. So I don't know how the new company is going to absorb the trash pickup in these areas, but certainly from a city standpoint, we can't stress enough to them not to monkey with the other stuff as much as possible. I know they may have to shift routes around to accommodate, but you don't think so? I mean, I don't know, but I'm just saying if
I
they
think
do,
the numbers in the area to be annexed are
minimal.
at most.
Okay.
And I'm not even sure some of the commercial ones aren't already served by them, so I wouldn't anticipate any impact.
Okay, good.
Okay. Moving along, reports of standing committees. Item A, Rental Housing Special Committee. Mike?
Yes, we had our last meeting on the Special Committee for Rental Housing on the 16th of May, and we had a guest speaker come from Moberly. Their administrator of the program there is Ms. Paige Douglas. She's a firefighter with the fire department, hired specifically 6 years ago to run this inspection program for their city. Their inspection program is unique to many that we have seen or observed through online research and through conversations with certain cities. Theirs includes not only rental housing, but also owner-occupied residences as well. They have done this for 6 years, and as the residence is turned over, an inspection is required. Once the initial inspection is done, until it's turned over again, it doesn't have to be done again. So it depends upon the changes of occupancy. Their cost is $45 a unit, $10 if there's multiple units in the same building and they're done at the same time, $10 for the additional units, so $45 for the first one and $10 for any other additional ones in the building. Sounds like a pretty reasonable cost. I was told that they're relatively self-sufficient, with her doing 75% of her time for inspections and 25% as a firefighter. She's a trained firefighter that supports the crews as well. That seemed to provide validity to their program to support especially the safety part of safety, health, and welfare inspections. That she has that kind of training. She can explain why egress of windows are so important, why handrails, why getting in and out of certain size windows and doors are so important, why smoke detectors are important, and so forth, and gas appliances. And so she has that training that helps to explain why certain codes are emphasized and why they are important to be fixed within 60 days of identification if there is a violation. There are more notes in there, but we found her visit to be very fruitful. She gave us a lot of a sample copy of her ordinance as it's changing. She gave us copies of all of her inspection checklists and code correlation checklists on what each of her inspections relate to in a particular international property maintenance code, which we also have in our current codes as requirements to our city residences. So I found it very fruitful, very helpful. Now the next step is to, I believe, take this to a public forum, which I'm going to try to do as early as the end of this month, present to the public what we are planning on presenting to you, the City Council. After that, I want to bring those public comments to you the first time we address this in a presentation to you. So I plan on, if all goes well, the last week of this month, having a public forum, probably in this room, and we'll invite the people to come and hear what I'm planning on taking to the City Council. I will then embed their comments in general, make sure if I have anything new, I'll add that to my presentation to make sure you get some of that feedback. Not to say that after it's presented to the City Council, you can decide where you want to go from there, or we can decide where we want to go from there, whether you have other public inputs after that, but that will hopefully give you at least a snapshot of where we are with that committee. Okay, that's it.
Do you have a date for that?
Well, I don't want to try to put too much on the city staff here, but I was hoping that if everything's done with what we need to do on the 26th with our annexation actions, then I would like to have the 28th. I haven't talked to Mary yet whether this room is available then, either the 28th or the 29th. I'd like to have in the evening, probably about 5:30 or so, have a presentation for the public.
Okay.
But I haven't confirmed that with Mary and with the city staff yet.
Okay. Just keep us posted.
You bet.
Okay, item B, Boonville Housing Authority, Morris.
Basically, it's just a routine meeting. If anybody got any questions, we'll try to answer them.
Any questions? No? Item C, Park Board, Morris.
We had some good discussions on renaming Little League Field, and that was tabled, and I would like to, I mean, it was basically a good meeting, but I would like the council and especially myself to thank Gary for all the outstanding work he did to try to solve our tournament here on August 3rd, because I think he went above and beyond in locating a park in Columbia and making sure that all these teams from out of state was taken care of.
I agree, did a good job coming up with a solution for that. Okay. Any questions or comments? Board of Public Works, Noah?
Our meeting basically centered around the presentation that Megan came and gave us about the annexation. As a board, they unanimously voted to endorse it.
Okay. Questions for Noah? Okay. Item E, Cemetery Board. Steve?
I was unable to make either meeting, but minutes for both meetings are in the package.
Okay. Any questions from council? Okay. Flipping over, Kemper Campus Ad Hoc Committee, Noah?
We met July 30th, and in the packet, probably the most concerning thing about the meeting, as you see, there's a letter in there from Dr. Drennan. where she regretfully has to withdraw from our business relationship. I think if you've read the letter, I would surmise it's probably very difficult on her health at this time. And I think the letter speaks for itself. It's, I think, a blow to the city. I think she would have made a wonderful partner concerning Kemper and the city of Boonville. But it is what it is, and we'll keep moving on.
Okay. Any questions? Ned?
I have two questions. The first one is that the paragraph that talks about her discussion of the her involvement here and their concerns about her, recruiting some outside people to come to the campus. Does that tell us anything about the letter that we received from her committing to the science building? Is there anything behind that tells us that we should be asking for something any firmer on the science building? No.
I think from my perspective of the meeting, some of the other points you can see under the new business, Dr. Gann really went into depth about State Fair Community College on campus. They've gone as far as creating their own local advisory committee that is some very prominent people, citizens in the community, especially around education. So I would disagree. I think they're going 100% straightforward, and we also got some numbers that would indicate that they were expanding and probably double what they were last year at this time. So I think the answer to that is that little building they're in now is not going to support their needs in the coming 3, 4, 5 years.
That's the way the rest of the stuff reads to me as well.
Yeah.
I worry about that from the standpoint of the EDA grant. That's we could end up with a building and this council managing the building, and I don't think that's going to work very well. So I worry about that. The second thing, Mayor, is important to this council and it's important to the city. It's very obvious from this email that Dr. Drennan and you have established a good, strong relationship. And I think that you should both be complimented for that, because what that's led to in our ability to redevelop at least a portion of Kemper campus is pretty astounding. And I wanted to make that comment.
Thank you, Ned. I was very, very sorry to get it. I opened the email on a Sunday and kind of ruined my day, if you want to know the truth. So we can overcome it. It's, we'll just have to move forward. It'll just be a little different path that we're going to be taking. As to your first comment, Ned, I don't think so. I think you're trying to read something into it that is there. I think Kinsey Feldman, who is the local administrator, perhaps misunderstood what Marcia's duties were to be. And I don't think there's anything more to it than that.
Okay.
So we'll move forward. We're going to, continue to work with Dr. Anderson and Kinsey. And like Noah said, the reports we're getting is things are going quite well. And yes, they're going to be outgrowing that building. So, anyway. Yeah.
If I may, too, I shouldn't have overlooked this, but there was also a letter in there about the update on the ADA. So I don't know if Kate has anything to add, but what I'll tell you is that Kate's in the process of she's secured a what would you call it, extension to get all the stuff done that they want done, and we're on track. She's on track to get that done October 25th. So we're moving forward to get that done. I will note in the first paragraph there, if you've read that letter from them, you'll see that the amount that we originally thought we were going to receive is a little bit short. I think our initial, I think our initial things were just guesstimates, weren't they, Earl? They weren't nothing in writing. They were guesstimates at $3 million, so we were speculating 1.5. What we are applying for a grant for is that 1.286 number. So we'll have to work within the means of that. If we are awarded it, nothing's promised at this point, but we're working towards it.
Okay. Very good. Morris, you have anything you want to add?
No, the only thing I want to add is that, in other words, the city is going to be looking for someone to try to replace Marcia, so that we'll have confidence that the Kemper will move forward like we want it to.
Good
And
point.
we're going to do that in a speedy manner,
Yes, we
because
are.
we feel like that's very important.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Okay. Reports of city officials, city administrator. Earl's going to talk about bed tax.
Yeah, just for clarifying the record, while we were encouraged to seek the extension, we haven't been approved for it yet. No,
I'm sorry?
I said, while we were encouraged to seek the extension on the supplemental requirements of the grant, we haven't actually been approved to do it. So
Okay.
we assume it comes through, but it hasn't happened at this moment.
Okay.
So another little thing in passing, I noticed in the Columbia Tribune, they raised water rates in Columbia also. And also, Mary said that she saw on the TV tonight they're proposing a 20-cent tax increase to combat crime in Columbia, I guess. So,
Yeah, I saw that, 3.5 million, but
Yeah.
the thing is it's only for 35 officers. That's $100,000 per officer. That's like a lot of money for
Salaries and equipment.
salaries and equipment.
The main thing I had on there was the bed tax. We set up this special meeting to officially call the election on the annexation on the 26th. I would also propose that you all consider an ordinance calling the bed tax election that we've talked about several times for a 1% increase at the same time. Since we already have the cost of the election, we might as well put a couple of things on it. So we'll prepare that for you if there isn't any.
So the first reading on the bed tax would be the 19th, and then the
Yes.
second reading?
Yeah, yes.
And currently it's 4%, and we're going to propose to raise it to 5%.
Ceiling's 5 for us, yeah. And the tourism group, Lisa et al., has considered it, and they're supportive of it. They also want to sort of focus a portion of it, maybe 25%, toward to have some direct benefit to the hotels, even though that's what the whole thing's generally expected to benefit. They're trying to do something that's a little more direct benefit to that. So they're going to entertain some things from billboards to the events that tend to bring a lot of people overnight. So they're going to mix that in there to deal with that. So the last thing I might mention is that we had a comment about the airport terminal in the public comment, and we also passed an ordinance for a partial parallel taxiway out there, which is a significant project, probably $750,000. Just for clarity for everybody, the difference is that those type of construction projects generate 90 to 95% federal state money, and we only have to come up with 5 or 7.5. While terminal buildings are eligible, they're at the very bottom of the list, and you've got to have everything else they think you ought to have done to have a perfect airport done before they'll even consider that, and we still got a handful of things before we reach there. So that's sort of why sometimes things might seem upside down.
Okay. Thank you, Earl. Mayor, I have no comments. City Councilor?
Nothing further this evening.
City Clerk?
Nothing to report.
Miscellaneous? Okay. Seeing and hearing no miscellaneous, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second? Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.